She thought she could keep her affair secret for years. But when I found the evidence, I waited for the perfect moment. At her family reunion, I exposed her infidelity. The reaction was unforgettable. Her family looked at her like a stranger. The silence was deafening. We had built a life together, one of those picture-perfect marriages that everyone envied from the outside. Kelly and I, we were it. She had the smile that could light up a room, and I had the steady, reliable charm. At least, that's what I thought. The truth? I was blind. I was a fool, living in a glass bubble. Our relationship was founded on mutual respect, or so I believed. But it had always been just a bit too neat, too perfect. I had my doubts now and then, sure. She had a way of pulling away small things. Cold silences. Mysterious late nights. But those were just phases, I told myself. She was busy. I was busy. Life had a way of distracting you, didn't it? In the back of my mind, something whispered that I was losing her. I ignored it. But I couldn't ignore the growing distance between us, nor the odd moments that now seemed like warnings. I stumbled upon it by accident. I was looking for my jacket in the closet when I saw the unfamiliar envelope. It wasn't like Kelly to leave personal things lying around, especially unopened. I almost ignored it, chalked it up to some errant piece of junk mail. But something inside me told me to open it. What I found inside was a receipt, an expensive one. Dinner for two. The date marked in bold numbers. It wasn't our anniversary. It wasn't a birthday. It was the night she'd said she was working late. I stared at the receipt for what felt like an eternity. The restaurant name meant nothing to me, but it was the time listed on the bill that made my skin crawl. 9:32 p.m. The time she said she was working. The time she wasn't. I let it simmer in my mind for a few days. I had to be sure. It couldn't be real. She wouldn't do that. Not Kelly. But when I found another receipt, another dinner, this one from a different night, with the same time, doubt turned into certainty. She was seeing someone. And she had been for months. Every waking moment after that was a blur of confusion and rage. I couldn't talk to her about it, not yet. I wasn't ready for the confrontation. Part of me felt like I might be wrong, that I might be jumping to conclusions. But deep down, I knew I wasn't. Every little piece of evidence began to stack up, and the picture formed itself in front of me. A betrayal, plain and simple. I started tracking her. Not in a weird, obsessive way, just small things. I checked her phone when she was in the shower. I dug through her purse when she left the room. And I found more receipts. More dates. More lies. And then there was the text message I found. It wasn't meant for me. It was meant for him. The message popped up while she was cooking dinner, her back turned to me. I couldn't help myself. I can't wait to see you tonight, it said. I'll make sure he's gone by 7. I couldn't breathe. My heart was hammering in my chest. I didn't confront her that night. No. I sat there, in the dark corner of the kitchen, my fingers shaking as I read those words over and over. It was like an out-of-body experience, as if I was watching myself from above. My life was falling apart, and I was just standing there. I couldn't go on like this. I was suffocating under the weight of it all. There was no point in pretending anymore. The anger, the betrayal, it was eating me alive. I couldn't just confront her, no, I had to expose her for what she truly was. I had to make her feel the way she made me feel. So, I started planning. I waited for the right moment. Kelly had always been a family-first type of person. Family was her anchor, her pride. So, when she mentioned that her family was having a reunion in a few weeks, I saw my opening. I'd never been close to her family, her brother, her sister, her mother, they all lived in different cities. But I knew one thing for sure: Kelly adored them. They were her world. If there was a place she felt most secure, it was in front of them. I knew what I had to do. I would expose her for the liar she was, and I'd do it in front of everyone she loved. The day of the reunion arrived. Kelly had spent the morning getting ready, putting on a dress that made her look like the woman I thought I knew, putting on a mask, just like I had been doing for months. We arrived at her parents' house, the same one I had visited so many times. Laughter and chatter filled the air, the smell of barbecue and freshly baked pies hanging heavy. I could hear the familiar voices of her relatives in the kitchen, making plans, telling stories, laughing. But none of that reached me. I was numb. I waited for the right moment. I wasn't going to shout or make a scene. No, I would do this carefully, methodically. I had everything planned out. Kelly was talking to her mother when I slipped the phone into her hand. "You should see this," I said, trying to control my voice. I knew she didn't suspect a thing. She glanced down at the screen, her face still in that picture-perfect smile. Then, slowly, her smile faltered as she saw the text. It was his name, the man she'd been seeing behind my back. "Is this yours?" I asked, my voice calm, almost detached. "I thought you said you were working late. Was that your version of working?" The silence in the room was instant. The laughter stopped. All eyes were on us. Kelly's face drained of color as the text sank in. She looked up at me, horrified, her breath catching. Her eyes flickered with panic. "It's not what you think," she began, but I cut her off. "Oh, I think I know exactly what it is." I turned to her family, who were all watching us now. "She's been having an affair for months, and I'm the one who had to find out from her phone." Not her mouth. Not her honesty. Just lies. Kelly's mother's eyes widened in disbelief. Her brother stood stock still, his jaw clenched. Her father? He didn't say a word. The room was frozen, suspended in a moment of pure, unfiltered truth. The weight of her betrayal hit everyone like a wave. Her world, her pristine little bubble, was shattered. Kelly tried to speak, to defend herself, but nothing could make up for the years of lies. Nothing could bring her back to the woman I once loved. My voice shook as I said, "You think you can lie and manipulate everyone around you?" But no. Not anymore. I turned to her mother, who was standing there, utterly stunned. "Tell me, do you know what she's been doing behind your back? Or is she that good at pretending?" Her mother couldn't answer, the truth too ugly to digest. As for Kelly? She looked at me with tears in her eyes, but they meant nothing. She had betrayed me. And now, I was going to make sure everyone saw her for what she truly was. No more secrets. No more lies. It was my turn to be free. The fallout was brutal. Kelly left that night, not a word to anyone. Her family didn't know what to say to me, but they didn't need to. The silence was enough. I didn't want to look at her again, and I didn't have to. She was gone. A few months later, I started to rebuild. It wasn't easy, but I found a strength I didn't know I had. I let go of the anger, the hurt, and eventually, the love. I realized that the man I had been, the man who had tolerated her betrayal for so long, was no longer who I wanted to be. I found peace in the truth. And though I'd been hurt, I could finally say that I was free. Sometimes, the hardest thing to do is expose the truth. But once you do, it's the only thing that can set you free.